the COVID is still spreading, and plus it adds to all that, there's a lack of staff nowadays.
Tonight, inmates of a Quebec jail say they aren't safe as COVID wave number 6 tightens its grip.
It's really unclear about how the Healing Foundation intends to directly help survivors.
There's no help from the Healing Foundation set up to help them, according to some survivors.
I want more future runners to come from my communities, to come from our nations, and, dream big.
And he didn't win the Boston Marathon, but he didn't do too bad for a Mi'kmaq guy from Nova Scotia. Good evening, welcome to APTN National News. I'm Melissa Ridgen. Pope Francis said last month that he would be coming to Canada to apologize for the church's role in residential schools, but there's still no official word yet on when and where he's going to be visiting. Tamara Pimentel joins us from Calgary with the details that we do know.
The Vatican hasn't confirmed a papal visit to Canada, but on April 1st, when Pope Francis issued that apology to Indigenous delegates in Rome for the Catholic Church's involvement in residential schools, he did say he did plan to visit in the summer. He's expected to visit at least 3 cities in late July. That's Iqaluit, Quebec City, and Edmonton, possibly for the Feast of St. Anne. Delegates, survivors, and those impacted by residential schools say they are very adamant that the apology needs to be in Canada and happen on Indigenous soil. Adam Northpagan with the Legacy of Hope Foundation told us an apology here would be just one step toward reconciliation.
When we look at reconciliation, it's not going to happen overnight. And we like to think that, we're on a journey there. And, to reach that point where, the Indigenous people are feeling as full partners in Canada with reconciliation, it may not happen in my lifetime or my kids' lifetime, but we are making small steps to get there.
We've reached out to the Assembly of First Nations for a comment. They said they would speak with us when details about the trip are confirmed. Tamara Pimentel, APTN National News, Calgary.
Thanks, Tamara. Frustrated with the lack of support, a 60s Scoop survivor has found her own way to heal, and it begins on the banks of a river known to many Mi'kmaq. Angel Moore brings us this story.
This river is a place of healing for Darlene Gilbert, a 60 Scoop survivor. She needs it because she can't get help from the 60 Scoop Healing Foundation.
What are they going to do with that money? I mean, we need therapy. Our families need therapy. Our children, our grandchildren may.
The Mi'kmaq consider the Shubenacadie River sacred and built this treaty truck house in 2016 to protect the river. And now it is a place for ceremony and gathering.
It brought me back to my people. It brought me back home. It showed me that I can heal.
The 60 Scoop settlement provided $500 to $750 million in compensation, but only $500 million for a healing foundation. Catherine LaGrange, a 60 Scoop adoptee, director of the 60 Scoop Legacy of Canada, says the Healing Foundation has not been enough.
100% it's lacking. I'd say that the communication with survivors has been really poor to date. It's really unclear about how the Healing Foundation intends to directly help survivors.
Gilbert is from the Annapolis Valley First Nation. She was taken when she was 10 years old and placed in numerous group homes and temporary spaces. She is calling for a national inquiry to help heal.
We deserve a national inquiry. We should be able to tell the government how they tried to colonize us, break us, take our language, keep us away from our communities.
LaGrange agrees an inquiry would provide insight.
Make that connection with residential schools, with MMIWG, with the justice system, because we know that, lots of us ended up in these kind of unfortunate situations where.
Meanwhile, Gilbert is determined to break the intergenerational trauma of colonialism and will continue to visit the river.
This is important for this generation, the 60s Scoop, to be able to say, hey, you know, we need this healing in order to break what has come behind us, and it doesn't come in the future.
The 60 Scoop Healing Foundation did not reply to APTN's request for an interview. Angel Moore, APTN National News, Jabotuk, also known as Halifax.
We want to hear what you think about the supports or lack thereof for 60 Scoop survivors. Here's how you can continue the conversation. Send your emails to news@aptn.ca. You can leave a comment on aptnnews.ca. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see all of our latest stories. Quebec's weekly COVID updates are showing that cases and hospitalizations are on the uptick again. Also going up is the number of people ordered back to jail after serving time at home during the pandemic. One man reached out to our reporter Lindsay Richardson to explain why jail in the sixth wave is not a safe place to be.
It's been almost a month since Quebec lifted most of its pandemic restrictions. And while most people are finally venturing out, there's one group now actually ordered back into confinement in uncomfortably close quarters.
I've seen in those cases that unfortunately maybe it was not very well managed, the reincarceration of all those people.
Back in March 2020, provincial jail detainees serving intermittent or weekend sentences were ordered to serve at home due to COVID concerns. Flash forward 2 years to March 2022. Quebec lifts its state of emergency, and these detainees, some vulnerable, are ordered to start serving in person again in facilities that are already stretched thin.
It was a kind of a very rapid change.
Lawyer Nadia Golnier reached out to APTN in concern for her clients at Bordeaux Jail, a minimum security facility on the island of Montreal. Kurt, a Mohawk man, is one of them. Kurt is not his real name, but he agreed to speak with us only if we hid his identity.
I thought they would have some safety measures with COVID. I didn't think we would be sleeping less than a foot away from each other.
Kurt is serving weekends at Bordeaux Jail after receiving 60 to 90 days for assault.
The first weekend they put us in a bullpen with I'm not even kidding, 50, 60 guys, and that bullpen's the size of my back porch. It's not that big, and they put me in there. We were shoulder to shoulder. We couldn't even move there.
Bordeaux was hit hard during the pandemic, with more than 740 inmates and over 400 guards testing COVID positive. In an email, Quebec's Public Security Ministry rattled off a list of hygiene measures reportedly in place there, including compulsory mask wearing, assessments, and rapid tests on arrival. Kurt says his current experience has been different.
Last time I was sitting there counting the people wearing masks, and it was me and maybe 4 or 5 other people in the whole, out of 100 people. They had no soap in the bathroom.
We asked Quebec's Public Security Ministry whether they'll grant exceptions for the intermittently sentenced if they're uncomfortable with serving in person, but that email went unanswered by airtime. Golnier feels it's just too much, too soon.
I think that the government should have more concern and think twice maybe before ending all those type of measures. Because in jail, the conditions are still difficult, the COVID is still spreading, and plus, it adds to all that. There's a lack of staff nowadays. It's a serious lack of staff, which make it very difficult to everybody to manage the situation appropriately and in accordance to the sanitary measure that should be respected.
Kurt is now working to get his sentence reduced. He worries for his job, his family, and other low-risk offenders put at risk by this policy.
We're murderers and killers and everything, I'm sure a lot of people are in there for small crimes too.
Lindsay Richardson, APTN National News, Montreal.
A recent poll by Leisure and Associates suggests that 1 in 4 Canadians has been infected with COVID-19. And after a weekend of holidays and gatherings, some health experts are worried about a surge in cases. However, infectious disease specialist Dr. Shuman Chakrabarty says that we are in a new phase of this pandemic.
Going forward, I don't think that we need to be declaring waves as some big thing, the 7th wave, 8th wave, 9th wave, or every long weekend we have having to worry about numbers. This is a very different disease now, to the point that we're able to manage the burden. We have an excellent amount of vaccination and boosting on the ground, and we have things like therapeutics, which are increasing in number as the days go by. So I think that while we will always be dealing with this in my field, I don't think it's something that every single person has to constantly worry about every time a long weekend comes.
Dr. Chakrabarty says that it's now up to the individual to assess their risks. Well, now a look at a story that we will have soon for you on APTN National News. APTN's Tina House follows a story of a BC chief who attended residential school as a boy and recently traveled to Rome to try to find some closure from the trauma that he endured.
I haven't come back here because of what's still in my mind, what I witnessed here. Mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse that I witnessed here. So, with no amount of money, no counselor could ever take that away from my mind.
planned dog cull in a northern Saskatchewan First Nation appears to be on hold. One rescue group is making plans to pick up as many dogs as it can this coming weekend, and they're putting out a call to any other rescues who can take dogs from Pelican Narrows. It's a complicated issue many First Nations face. Leanne Sanders explains why.
Gail Youngworth with North of 54 Frontline Dog Rescue regularly picks up animals in 8 northern communities. She was happy to hear that a cull in Pelican Narrows didn't happen over the Easter long weekend. It's given Youngworth time to arrange a couple of cargo vans for this Saturday to go and pick up as many as she can of an estimated 100 strays. Youngworth says the Peter Ballantyne Cree Nation planned the cull to deal with the strays, some of which have become aggressive. She would rather see neuter and spay laws be put in place and enforced, but says lack of access to vet services is a problem.
There's such a vet shortage going on now. In the vet clinics even are having a hard time staffing their clinics. Some that were providing emergent after-hour care are no longer doing so because their staff were just getting burnt out.
Youngworth has even reached out to a contact in Ontario to see if Vets Without Borders can help northern Saskatchewan communities struggling with their dog populations.
Definitely there's an issue with, like I say, the lack of spay because as we know, they can multiply very quickly. We do offer spay and returns to people if they want us to take a pregnant dog, and we'll have a mom spayed free of charge for them, vaccinated, dewormed, and brought back to them in the community.
Youngworth has even reached out to a contact in Ontario to see if Vets Without Borders can help northern Saskatchewan communities struggling with their dog populations. Youngworth says she can meet up in Prince Albert, Saskatoon, or North Battleford with any rescues who can take dogs. She's getting support for her efforts from even further away. A Vancouver Island woman started a GoFundMe campaign that has raised about $3,200 so far. Meanwhile, Leah Arcand, who runs Save Res Dogs in Saskatoon, continues working to educate people on reserve about their options when it comes to dog management. But she says it's hard to change the minds of some council members.
The ones who need to hear it are the hardest ones to get to listen to. You know, I'm just feel like I talk to brick walls or deaf ears sometimes, honestly, because I'm trying to reach the ones, but on the spectrum of allies, I'm just trying to reach the ones who I can, who are listening, and it's the youth.
APTN has reached out to Peter Ballantyne council members from Pelican Narrows for comment, but has not gotten replies as of airtime. Leanne Sanders, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
Should have been wearing my Save Res Dogs shirt today. Well, a 2-time Governor General Award winner is questioning a move by an Ontario school board that banned one of his books. The Durham Public School Board recently removed Cree author David Robertson's book, The Great Bear, from its library. For more, we're joined by David Robertson. David, thanks for being with us. You know, what is your understanding of the reasons the Durham Public School Board pulled The Great Bear from its library collection?
Well, I wish I could tell you specifically because they haven't been really forthcoming with me. What I know is just what I've seen from a leaked email where they've said that the Great Bear is too cultural and is too much ceremony because it's their policy not to teach it. And what was most concerning for me was that they said the book was harmful to Indigenous children and families, which really shocked me.
Is this, you know, and this is a non-Indigenous board that is making this statement, or where are they getting this from, do you think, or do you know?
I don't know specifically. I know that some people on the advisory committee that are on that board are Indigenous, some are not. I know that they have consultants that they speak with who are Indigenous. So I think like a lot of this could be cleared up or at least clarified somewhat if they would just respond and let us know what's going on and offer some clarification, which is what my publisher really, that's all they asked for. And they had contended after that those emails went to spam so that they didn't see them, which I also found a little bit bizarre.
You know, many of your books have been used for teaching in a classroom setting. Are there things in The Great Bear that stick out to you that you think would be controversial and be the reason why it's been yanked from the shelves for review?
No. You know, this is a book that is a book of empowerment. It's a book that is talks about anti-bullying. It is a book that has positive representation of Indigenous characters. There's nothing in this book that I felt that would have anything controversial in it that would upset or harm any children. In fact, quite the opposite. I found it quite offensive because I work very hard for every day to make sure that I'm writing books and speaking to kids and trying to empower them and to make them feel like they're valued and that they matter. And so hearing that reasoning was really quite upsetting to me.
My 11-year-old read the book and he would agree with your take on it. He enjoyed it. The school board has said that they would have more to say on this issue next week. They've got a board meeting tonight. What's the outcome that you're looking for?
Well, I'd like transparency. I would like to see a change of policy. I think there's things that are going on within that board that I'm hearing from teachers who don't want to be named for fear of reprimand, that really want to see things change. And so, I've said before, I don't really want an apology unless there's action behind it. You can put my book on the shelves, but if you're going to do the same for a couple of other books, then I feel like I'm not doing my job as an advocate. So I want to see big changes that occur. I don't want to see this happen again. I'm not a fan of, and I think a lot of Canadians aren't, of censorship or banning literature. Kids need to have these books in their hands.
Yeah. Well, we're sorry that you're going through this. We look forward to a fruitful outcome in all of this. And thanks for joining us to shed some light on what's going on in the Durham Region School Board.
Thanks, Melissa.
We need to take a quick break, but here's a look at something else that we're working on for you.
I'm Sarah Connors at the Signpost Forest in Watson Lake, Yukon, and soon I'll be bringing you a story on a fascinating artist. Meet Cohen Quash, or as he's known in the beading world, Owlboy. I'll show you why he's earned the name and how he's not letting gender norms define him or his art.
I would love to see more male beaders have their own businesses, and I would be really happy.
That's coming up on APTN National News.
Welcome back. It's time now for our photo of the day. This was the view from the neighborhood of Westboro, looking at downtown Ottawa and the cloud cover over the Ottawa River. Thanks to Letitia Rangel Terrazas for this great photo. If you have an amazing photo, you can email it to share@aptn.ca for the chance to be featured as our next photo of the day. Let's take a look now at tomorrow's weather forecast. Off to the east coast, we've got cloud and 7 for St. John, sunny and 10 in Halifax. Happy Valley, Goose Bay, some flurries, 6 degrees, 0 and snow for Nain. Chibougamau 2 and snow expected. Gaspé, you got some sunshine, 8 degrees expected there. 9 and cloud for Ottawa, 6 and sunny for Sault Ste. Marie. Sunshine and 7 for Timmins and Kapuskasing, 4 and sunny in Big Trout Lake. -5 and snow for Puckatawagan, 3 and snow for God's Lake. Winnipeg, mix of sun and cloud and 3 degrees. You're getting some showers possibly in Brandon and 3 degrees there. 1 in snow for Swift Current in Saskatoon. 2 in sunshine for Buffalo Narrows. Stony Rapids, sunny, 1 degree. Sunshine and 5 for Fort McMurray, 3 in Peace River with some flurries expected there. Same with you in Edmonton, 3 and flurries, 6 with a chance of snow in Lethbridge. 15 and sunny for Kamloops, 11 and sunny for Quesnel. 12 and sunshine for Prince Rupert, 4 and sunny for Fort Nelson. Old Crow -3, sunny skies, +3 and sunny for Mayo. Same with Wrigley, +3 and sunny, -3 and sunshine for Norman Wells. Inuvik, -7 and sunny, Tuktoyaktuk, -14, clear skies. -11 in Baker Lake and Whale Cove, chance of flurries there. -20 in sunshine for Arctic Bay, Pangertung, -8 and snow. A Mi'kmaq man ran the Boston Marathon yesterday. He's the first to represent his community in the 126th version of that race. Angel Moore has the story.
Jarvis Gugu of the Waigama First Nation in Nova Scotia ran with over 28,000 runners in Monday's Boston Marathon, the first in his community to qualify and complete the 42.2-kilometer course. Community members from Waigama made this video for Gugu, sending him words of encouragement in English and Mi'kmaq.
Run, Jarvis, run! Chigawa, great!
Waigama is really proud to have you as our representative at the Boston Marathon. Go Jarvis!
Gugu intends to share his Boston Marathon finisher's medal with his community to inspire others.
To be the first person from Waigama First Nation to earn this, it means a lot, but at the same time, more importantly, I most certainly hope I'm not the last one. I want more future runners to come from my communities, to come from our nations, and dream big, aim for Boston and beyond.
Gugu finished the race in just over 3 hours. Angel Moore, APTN National News, Tupuktuk, known as Halifax.
Good for him. If you see me running 42 kilometers, somebody is chasing me. Well, it's Tuesday, and that means another episode of Face to Face is upon us. Daryl Stranger fills in for Dennis Ward this week. Kevin Chief is the guest. Chief co-founded an Aboriginal youth sports organization. He's a former member of the Manitoba legislature and a well-known square dancer in this province. Here's a quick snippet of why he feels that it's important to travel to isolated communities.
We saw that we were making a difference in Winnipeg with partnering, with the city, with the province, with the federal government, with schools, with the private sector like True North. And we felt that a group of us wanted to learn from isolated and remote communities. We wanted to learn about the struggles and challenges that young people have, but we also wanted to learn about the amazing things that happen in these communities.
Fun fact, he is also a runner. Well, and an incredible guy. So you can stay tuned right now for that episode of Face to Face. Find out for yourself. I'm Melissa Ridgen. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.